exercise, especially in women, especially in senior women, has shown to prevent bone breakages, bone losses, right? So that's another reason why older women strengthen the bones, gives you the strength to withstand falls and generally.
Hi,
Hi.
welcome back to Circee Health Pod for a festive edition. Not really, just trying to get your attention. Today we are talking about exercise, mostly this guy since that's his favorite topic, and it might not be what you think it's about. Not just talking about running on the rack wheel at the gym or lifting 800 kilos at a time. We're actually talking about exercise as a way to help your body lose fat and build muscle a healthy and long-lasting way.
Yeah. A lot of times, what has happened is we have only concentrated on nutrition, and then we talked about some studies and so on.
You talked about studies? You talked about
Okay,
studies.
I talk about studies, but the point is that we constantly are in that frame of mind of, okay, let's tell them about nutrition because it's very, very, very important.
Which it is.
But we can't completely say exercise is not important. Exercise is a very important contributor to good health, right? So, the
So let's get into
okay,
it.
sure.
But before we get into it, may we remind you that our podcasts are here to educate you and empower you as human beings on this earth. We want to help you be able to prevent and or reverse chronic health conditions, whether you have them already or whether they run in your family or whether you're just concerned about them. We want you to have the tools and the power to do so. And also, we always like to remind you before you embark on any such journey, especially an exercise journey, please do check with your family doctor.
Yeah.
Just to make sure it's safe for you to do so.
Basically, anything we say, check with the doctor.
Yes.
Right.
Now let's get into the strong part of this.
Okay, you're really
podcast.
like hunting and fishing
That
for.
was not a good.
Yeah, you tried though. You tried. So the question that begs to be asked is why exercise, right? I mean, what do studies say about exercise? Here we go, right? Studies. Um,
The
so
world wants to know.
yeah, so repeatedly studies have shown one thing, and that is exercise helps. I mean, that's it's a no-brainer, but I wanted to mention that.
Exercise helps with what?
Exercise helps with being more healthy, and as a result, you can see a statistically significant difference between people that don't exercise versus people that exercise. People that exercise have a longer lifespan, undoubtedly. People that exercise have a longer lifespan, right off the bat. Because they also gather healthier habits and so on. The other thing that it does is, if you can think about exercise, yes, you only when you think about exercise, you think about, oh, exercise is moving my muscles and bones and so on. But along with the muscles and bones, your intestines are also moving, your stomach is moving, your lungs are moving, your lymphatic system is moving, your venous system is moving. I didn't mention arteries specifically because arteries are being pumped by the heart anyway. But the other ones that are not being pumped, the lymphatic system and the venous system, which is venous, by the way, venous system brings the blood back to your heart. So those are not really, they don't have an active mechanism to pump, and neither does the lymphatic system. But this way, what happens is you kind of like move the gunk around and get your pipes flushed, if you will. So that's one way to put it. So besides improving your circulation and musculature, of course, and getting exercise, especially in women, especially in senior women, has shown to prevent bone breakages, bone losses, right? So that's another reason why older women strengthen the bones, gives you the strength to withstand falls and generally be able to take your weight.
What kind of exercise does that?
Usually strength exercises like weight bearing exercises, bands. I'll get to that in a minute. Hang on. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not
Also, I
there.
just want to clarify, it doesn't have to be older women.
Yeah.
You can have it
True.
at any age.
No, I'm saying
make
that
sure
it.
you continue when.
Yeah, if older women, when you get to an older age, if you're exercising, it helps, prevent hip fractures and bone breakages, etc. Last but not least, it actually helps improve your immunity, right? And I think we talked ad nauseum about immunity in the last couple of, I think,
Yes.
3, 4, 5 episodes. So I won't go into that, but I think it just beg to be told that exercise actually helps your immunity. Again, all those little capillaries. Think about the capillaries in your lungs, your nose, your nasopharyngeal, this area, the facial area. Um, it, all those capillaries are moving fast and getting rid of any kind of bacteria and viruses and stuff like that. And as a result, your immunity is better, right? So those are the main reasons why people should exercise. I think we should have a separate episode on, we know people who are like, well, I really don't want to go to the gym. I really don't want to go exercise somewhere else and so on. Maybe we should have a separate one for talking about how do you progress from your favorite couch to 5K, she calls it, which is,
I didn't call it. Someone else called it.
okay, in our family, she calls it. So, yeah. So, couch meaning like, you're sitting on a couch, and 5K is 5 kilometers. So, you instead of being sedentary, being able to run 5 kilometers. The same thing is applicable, couch to exercise or couch to yoga or couch to whatever it is, right? So we'll help you get there in a progressive manner. I think that should be a separate um, episode because there's a lot to be said in there, and how to get there and so on and so forth. But right now, let's just concentrate only on the exercise part, right? Oh, by the way, we I forgot to mention that obviously with the increased circulation, it helps kind of clean the pipes. So you can imagine the pipes being cleaned in your heart. So the plaque buildup in your arterial system is also flushed and removed. So it can help in reversing some of your plaque buildup and your heart disease. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the types of exercises. So I'm sure people would want to know what the kind of types of exercises that we're talking about right now in this podcast. I'm sure there are many, many, many more, but we just kind of divided it into three main categories. Um, One is just straight up cardio exercise, where cardiovascular exercise, which cardio means heart, vascular means your circulatory system, exercising those things. So when you exercise that, your blood flows faster, and you huff and puff, and especially classic example is biking or bicycling or running or swimming fast. So those tend to increase your heart rate and get the pipes moving, if you will, or the blood moving, if you will. The second type are stretching exercises like yoga, and Pilates, and so on and so forth, where you actually stretch out your skeletal system. Now, I'm not talking about the yoga and the medical, or I mean, sorry, the mental, spiritual, emotional part. I'm just talking about yoga as a physical.
Also good, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've not mentioned that at all because right now I'm only concentrating. Yeah, yeah. So yoga needs a separate podcast by itself. Which I don't know. Maybe we should bring in a yoga expert to talk about that. That might help our listeners, viewers. Um, at the Where was I? Okay, so the second type are the stretching exercises. Third type are weight exercises. I mean, these are very broad categories, right? So weight exercises I would consider where you typically you would see people picking up the weights in a gym and exercising with the dumbbells or barbell or whatever. The second type of weight exercise is where you use your own body, and I've seen some people doing phenomenal stuff with not a they've never touched a weight in their life, but they look amazing with just doing body exercises. Just the weight of their body itself is enough to exercise. Um, and the third, which is very, very, very convenient, especially when you're traveling, are band exercises. And don't, what's the word? Don't think that band exercises are any less. The convenience part is amazing. They don't weigh anything. We just simply use almost like a sophisticated rubber band, a huge rubber band that can be stretched. And it's very convenient to carry when you're traveling, and yet it can afford enormous benefits. You don't really need weights, you don't need body weight exercises and so on. You can just do it with simple set of bands, like buy like one medium strength band, which is what I use, and depending on how much you stretch it, it gets tighter and looser, and that's more than enough for exercising. So those are three types of exercises.
Okay, so you talked about the types of exercise, the three categories, but can you share some different routines that you do with our listeners slash viewers?
So, for each type of exercise, for whether it's stretching or actually stretching, I would suggest that just go with the whole body type routine where you just basically do a type of exercise every single time. But on the other hand, research has shown that when you kind of surprise your body by varying your routine, it responds better to exercise.
Right, the spice of life.
Yeah, I guess. So in this case, it's more so because even when you're doing yoga and stuff like that, remember when we used to do it with the yoga instructor, he or she would always change the routine a little bit. So that's always beneficial.
Muscle memory.
So muscle memory is something that we keep talking about. There's no really science thing to it. It's just that muscles adapt very well. So if you keep doing the same routine again and again, you find that it's easier and easier to do. So body tends to try to be lazy as much as possible. So body tries to find the easiest way to do whatever workout you're doing. And that's what we call muscle memory, which is, once your body's used to it, you really don't think much about it. And the body's like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And you burn less calories. You put less effort into it, right?
So that's why you need to change it up.
That's right. You need to change it up so that even if it's yoga, I would suggest changing it up. Now, as far as changing it up is concerned, your question was, what do I suggest or what do I do in terms of changing it up, right? So there are four broad categories based on where you are in terms of. I mean, if you've been a brand new person that's just about starting to exercise, I would suggest doing a full body exercise. Find a YouTube video, and I know we constantly look for them. I'm sure you can just Google whatever type of exercise you like, whether it's yoga, whether it's weights, whether it's bands, whether it's cardio. Do a full, look for a video that does full body exercise. Okay, so for yoga, for instance, you'll find something that goes from head to toe. Weights, the same thing. I mean, you just search what is it, full body exercise, I guess. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Even for bands, the same thing. Just search for full body exercise and you can do it.
And how long should they look?
So I would suggest doing it for about 40 minutes, 3 times a day. 3 times a day, 3 times a week. 3 times a week. Okay, no more, no less. That's the most effective one. Well, I'll get to that in a minute. Yoga is okay. Yoga is perfectly fine on a daily basis. But if you're trying to, strengthen your muscles, the way muscles grow is actually they just don't simply grow. When you do exercise, what happens is your muscles actually break down. This might come as a surprise to many of you. Muscle actually breaks down. While doing the exercise, muscle tear and they break down. So when they tear and break down, you then provide it when you have some protein powder. Micro tears. Yeah, these are not injuries. You won't see them. You'll see them only under a microscope. So when they tear and you have some protein powder or dal or whatever, those fibers now try to start to rebuild because there are building blocks available to them, and they build slightly bigger because they remember that, oh, last time with this much muscle I could not pick up whatever 10 kgs or something. So the muscle automatically remembers that and says, okay, I need to have a few more bundles of fiber, and it builds upon it. The muscles are torn and rebuilt when you add building blocks like protein to your body.
Plant-based.
Yes, plant-based protein to your body, and that's another topic. Talk about animal-based versus plant-based proteins. But one of the key things is to get enough rest and give it enough water and protein and stuff like that, which I'll get to in a minute. So that's as far as the full body workout is concerned. The next one is to basically look at exercises in body parts or doing a type of exercise. For example, you can do legs on one day, chest and arms on another day, back and shoulders Back and biceps on another day. By the way, for our audience, what she's mentioning by back and biceps is from an old
It's not that old.
exercise routine we used to do in the 15 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, where you would
Maybe it's
have
old.
body part exercises saying, okay, um, chest and back, and then
Back and biceps.
back and biceps or
Legs.
something. Yeah, separate parts
Yeah.
for each day. That way,
Abs.
the reason why you do that is so that you can rest the rest of the body parts. So, for example, if I did chest and biceps today, tomorrow if I'm doing legs, my chest and biceps are sort of kind of resting. So that way you can break up the body parts into different for different days.
But still exercise more.
And for each day of the week you can exercise and then take 1 or 2 days off.
We also call it targeted, right?
Yeah.
Targeted exercise.
Yeah, and then there are other advanced things which I don't think I'm qualified to talk about, which is individual exercises for biceps, for triceps, and shoulders, and so on and so forth. And then that's getting too in the weeds and technical. I wouldn't worry about it as long as you can do full body and then break it up into like different body parts for the 7 days of the week, or at least 3-4 days of the week. You're good to go. That's the way I would suggest looking at the exercise routines. So at this point, we should end this part, and we'll continue on in the next part. But in the meanwhile, our listeners can go to our website, circeehealth.com/podcast, and browse through other podcasts that might interest them, or on their own app, whatever app they use, Apple Podcast or Spotify or whatever they use, they can certainly search for other topics that we've talked about.
In case you are just so excited for the next one that you can barely contain yourselves and you miss the sound of our voices, they'll always be there for you on circeehealth.com/podcast. Did we mention that?